Welcome back to the Frith Podcast. I'm your host, Eric.
And I'm co-host Scott.
And today we're going to cover chapters 31 through 35 of Mimic Arcanist before we get into today's episodes, along with our usual thanking you guys for listening and like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. We also want to say Happy Hanukkah to those who celebrate it. I know I am a few days late. I do apologize. Got the dates a little bit mixed up here, but I think we're back on track with what day this is airing. So, again, Happy Hanukkah for those that celebrate it, and Merry Christmas to everybody else that celebrates Christmas, as this is Christmas Eve when this comes out. And with that, we'll get into today's chapters.
Chapter 31 is incredible. We quickly learn that the Death Lords are very powerful and also very vengeful people, so may have pissed off the wrong person. So that's good to know. Be careful for somebody who's willing to hold revenge for a couple hundred years. I'm sure you have yours coming. Twain does want to meet another Mimic Arcanist. Unfortunately, there's two kind of problems. One, they're not that common. And two, when they are around, you don't always realize that they are. In the case of like Professor Zane, didn't quite know that he could have asked him about being a Mimic Arcanist because he was hiding it the whole time. We do also find out as we're talking with Novak that he was able to get an invite to the Cotillion. He essentially took Nazbit's. Nazbit does not want to go, does not see any benefit to social events, so gave his away. And now it's time for clothes. Novak, he's got a few outfits that are entertaining, but he does have a shopping hat specifically, which I think is very funny. But he's taking Gray and Soren to Anchor Island. Gray ends up getting permission from Helmuth that it's okay to go. They do end up finding out that they have found kind of 13 gate fragments, and those are all kind of being handled by the headmaster. And along with them, Exie does want to go. She does want to get matching outfits for her and Soren. She does find out that Soren and Nini are sweethearts. They even kissed, which is very sweet, but it's also this awkward love triangle now going on between the three of them. And then finally, we do find out that Flotilla Marketplace, which is where they're heading, is actually a floating marketplace, so very aptly named. And it's actually a tax haven, which is why everybody hangs out there, because of no international tax laws. So that brings us to chapter 32.
Nobody wants to pay taxes. Like, that's just a thing. So I can understand that.
No, it's always there's always a black market. There's always a tax haven.
And in chapter 32, the Flotilla Marketplace, we have Exie and Soren that are going to their tailor to be dressed to match. We find out that there is a Leviathan skeleton that is set around the entirety of this area to essentially calm the storms before they get to the ships. And it'll rain a little bit, but it won't actually continue to storm. And this is an amazing use of magic. I think it's kind of wasteful, though, just to prevent them from getting battered around a little bit as a tax haven. So, right. And I mean, the way they describe the gangplanks going between ship to ship and all these other things, you would kind of get the feeling a little bit otherwise. But again, they're going to do what they want to do. And kind of like, I feel like Port Crown. The defenses of Port Crown are going to be amazing. The actual town of Port Crown is going to be crap.
All the scum coming into the port.
Right. So we go to our tailor that we're going to be doing, and Jack is a Queen Fairy Arcanist, and I really hope that Queen does not feel like eating Jack anytime soon. Starling is just as excited for new clothes to match with Novak as Novak is to get new clothes to go to the Cotillion with. He looks at Twain and asks what kind of creature he is, and as they say, he's a mimic. He says, nope, nothing for the mimic. He'll destroy anything that we put on him if he transforms. And Twain is like, I prefer to be naked, though. And then it just kind of brings the thoughts of, well, he's naked all the time, and then he starts mentioning that he's naked on Gree's shoulder, and
it just feels like the Disney, Donald Duck never wears pants. Twain is always naked.
Exactly. Gray does ask that he matches with Ashlyn, and he doesn't really want to say that he wants to match with her. He does ask about the cross family crest, and Novak pretty much says, "I've got this. He's got your measurements. We're gonna go ahead and do what you want to do." So we go exploring. Gray does remember that if he ever is curious about a creature's abilities, he just needs to try them out himself, and he's testing out all these different creatures that are there. He has Twain transform into a moon rabbit at one point. I feel like he would be beneficial, just every single thread he feels to pull on it to see what it is and what they can do. He does end up finding a library boat, and it has books, so we're going to look through these and try to find them, and we do find a book that has tales of Death Lords in it. And I feel like he does the dirty thing where he's sitting in the library reading the book or the Barnes and Nobles reading the book that he wants to buy, but doesn't want to buy the actual book because he only needs one little bit.
Cheap little boy.
So I was honestly waiting for the owner of the ship to come over and be like, "Hey, you gotta buy that first before you can read it." And thankfully, while he's reading it, it doesn't happen. But we do find Death Lord Deimos is unalived. We find that Death Lord Deimos unalived his father, made a banner out of his skin, and ended up bonding to the 7th Abyssal Dragon, and was also nonchalantly like, "No, you're not my dragon," to the 6th Abyssal Dragon.
That brings us to chapter 33, The True Tale of Death Lord Deimos. So, Exi and Soren are trying on outfits. She's actually helping him write a poem about Nini, which I do think I actually appreciate. It shows a little more depth to her than I thought she was going to get, so I do really appreciate that moment. She actually ends up being really, really good at illusions. She's just kind of scared to use them in front of people, and she creates this almost perfect imagery of Nini from memory that Soren can then use to write the poem. They do end up leaving the island, and we have another dream with the Death Lords. So we find out kind of a little bit more about the past. His mom was killed kind of for a second set of twins. He ended up bonding with a sovereign dragon first, which is crazy. Took revenge for his mom, burned down the city, unalived his dad. And then the previous Abyssal Dragon Arcanists were released from the Hells, but he was never actually released. So he kind of feels like he's being held there captive. And we do feel like they have this conversation, and names aren't as powerful in this fandom as they are in some other ones, but I do feel like it is a very bold move to be giving the Death Lord your name, because it just feels like there's probably some sort of magic that he can do with that. And that ends our newest dream sequence.
And chapter 34 picks up with Persistent, and he does make a comment about the page number, and it is page 300. And it's one of those, would have been sly if she would have been able to put in page number 394 just to
slide one in there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what my mind went to. So regardless of whether it was 300 or 394. Anyways, we're going through a very dull class by Reevy as being the professor because we don't know where Jenkins is or whatever. She's Piper. I love that essentially all of the Eldrin fall asleep. Reevy also does make a comment about how Piper does not want to be called Jenkins anymore, and that she's going through a divorce, and that obviously intrigues everybody. And it's like, well, what's going on? What happened? Who's she getting divorced from? What are the details? And he was essentially like, that's none of your business. Don't worry about this. I think this is a statement to the class specifically so that she can appear to be more available for Ren, because obviously she likes him. There's zero doubt in my mind that if she had the opportunity, she would marry Rourke in a second.
She's sobered up for him, pretty much.
Right, she stopped drinking for him. That's a pretty drastic thing to do, so obviously she's willing to put in the work. Reevy does get really excited to talk about the Third Hebron War because Gray asks about it. And we get a little bit more information about it, other than just what the book says. after class, we are getting ready for our cotillion. We have the all of the clothes that are back from the tailors, and Starling comes in with his like tuxedo collar around his neck, and he's just having a blast with it because he's looking dapper AF. And we know Novak's looking good. Novak has Gray checked to see if everything fits right, if it's what he should be. And so he goes off to go get changed. Gray finds out that he is able to communicate with Deimos because of the Gate of Crossing fragment that he absorbed. And I love the shower room, like, realizations. He's in the shower at this point, getting... And this is kind of that moment of epiphany of, oh, actually, you know what? I wonder if it's because of the gate fragments. So Gray does get changed into his outfit that he got from Novak for the cotillion. And then he goes and calls on Ashlyn. And she comes out, and he's wearing a black shirt, black trousers. He's got a white vest with the Cross family crest. And that he's looking dapper AF as well.
It brings us to chapter 35, first son, second daughter. So he wants to show off his fit to Ashlyn. He does this little twirl. There is a whole lot of just like tension. It's just like, kiss already, please continue. They finally do that. Ashlyn, however, has some bad news. She does spill the beans that she's actually already betrothed. I know, the worst. To Valo Fitzroy, which sounds about the same as Gilderoy Lockhart. So in my mind, it's the same person. And not surprisingly, she wants to run away. But that's not really a great life option. So there is this also kind of cute little moment realization where Gray kind of has this comment of like, always liking her and how Ash is Gray. So it's almost like they're meant for each other.
I feel like I'm not saying that he's like grasping for straws here to connect them somehow, but I do like that he, I like that he did it. He put the effort in, okay?
Gray does go and tell the news to Soren and Novak and Raza. They're all in the room. He's kind of sharing his sorrows, which I completely understand, but I also feel bad for Ashlyn because now her whole like, oh, I'm betrothed, which I guess everyone's going to find out already at the cotillion, but is kind of leaking out a little earlier than she might have wanted.
I do like that she gave him the forewarning of it before they got to the cotillion and it gets announced, because I definitely feel like if she would have waited for her father to announce it, I think this would have gone in a completely different direction with Gray. And obviously he likes Ashlyn, but knowing that she's the one that told him, and that, it's that very sad part, but again, she's the one that told him.
Yeah, he did hear it first. He heard it from her. She was hiding it, but she didn't hide it as much. So I give her a lot of credit. She was in a tough spot and picked, the lesser of two weasels.
Exactly. And with that ends this week's chapters of 31 through 35 of Mimic Arcanist. Next week we'll be going over chapters 36 through to the end of the book, since there's only 3 chapters after our normal 5. And they are a little on the shorter side, so just figure we can finish those out. Again, if you're listening to this on the day of release, it is Christmas Eve, and we want to wish you a Merry Christmas as well, and Happy New Year's. And again, for those that celebrate Hanukkah, I do apologize for being late, but Happy Hanukkah as well. Scott, did you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, coming close to the end. We'll see what roller coasters we get this time.
Yay! All right, we'll catch you guys next week.